Hello, I'd like to talk about characteristics of lay pastors ministry. I wrote it down this a few months ago that I was thinking that what are our characteristics of lay pastors ministry. So I was writing down and I'm going to talk today to you. So you know, these diagrams we are doing this ministry actually. Naming of this ministry. The name of ministry, what we are doing is lay pastors ministry. It means a lay pastoral care ministry. In other words, not the ministry of evangelism or discipleship Mediterranean, but caring ministry. Evangelism and the disciple materials are already too many, but not enough in caring ministry, Reverend Steinbrenner said. Someone once said, evangelism is men's ministry, caring is women's ministry. I guess he meant that evangelism is more strong, aggressive ministry and caring itself. Also, evangelism is an extroverted ministry, and caring is an introverted ministry. It means in the church and out of the world, the purpose of church is two aspects. Number one, Great Commission, Matthew 28, 19-20, evangelism. And the Great Charge, John 21, 15-17, caring. These two must be balanced. Ministry tasks. Our many tasks are PACE. Prayer, available, contact, and example. Those pastors who are doing this ministry at their own churches said there have been four phenomena in this ministry. Number one, they said, church influence. Second, lifestyle change. And church culture getting better. I found this one. And number four, ministry engine. It means when they are doing this ministry, they found that the lay peoples are going to do some other ministry because they found something, engine from this ministry. What to call them? So there are many different opinions on the naming of these ministers. However, the official name presented from the LPM USA and the LPM Korea is lay pastor. The senior pastor of the large church in Korea use this name. The big church calling them is very effective to the Korean and also United States. It's true because they are influenced. For instance, the big church in the state calling them lay minister. So many other churches use this name. Of course, there are various names in Korea and the United States churches. Pace ministers, lay pastors, lay ministers, etc. Convenience of use for their situation, for your situation, for your theology background, so you can use variety, lay pastor, pace ministers, or whatever you like. Length of training. The length of training is various. 12 hours of training for 2 evenings, 3 times, or 12 weeks, depending on circumstances. If they ask me, Byung, to our institute to come to and train their people, I found 2 days in a row, usually 2 evenings, exactly 2 hours, has proven to be the best and good enough to motivate the start of this ministry. We may call it basic training, just like army training base, only to change their paradigm shift to be lay ministry and almost ready to do 12 hours enough, and have done this system last 10 years. Who is responsible? The senior pastor or assistant pastor are not in charge of this ministry. Of trained layered pace minister, 4 to 5 people, usually small church, or 7 to 10 people at the big church, will be a composite of a ministry leadership group which is responsible for the progress, also success and failure. Of course, the cooperation and help us also supervision of the senior pastor and the assistant pastor are inevitable. If the pastor or assistant pastor are responsible for this ministry, it is exactly the same formula of the past, and the same will be inefficient just like the prayer. precedent. When the lay people are responsible for their ministry, then people see the model of a team ministry. I mean, lay people themselves will show the team ministry. Biblical basis. There are 4 biblical bases: Ephesians 4:11-12, theology basis, John 21:15-17, ministry base, 1 Peter 5:1-4, realistic base, Exodus chapter 18, sharing base, focus on the scriptural base. It is the core scriptures of this ministry. Not the program. This ministry is not the program, but it is the ministry itself. It was particularly emphasized by the founder, Dr. Melvin Steinbrenner. Most programs are entirely lacking including personal involvement, but this ministry is totally involved in our service and also formed us systematically from the beginning to the end, and also to be well organized. So I call it system of congregational care by lay people. Change the role. The role of the clergy and the laity have to change. So far, we have been thought the pastor is the one who is doing the ministry, and the lay people is only pastorally receiving the ministry. But now the clergy person is the keeper, and the lay people is the minister, whose role and function will be changed through this ministry. Equipping. To the same, Ephesians 4:11-12 should be highlighted. It can be understood by comparison with education and training. In education, mainly the theory and concept that taught in the classroom, and training is actually used in the field and provide the principles and the policies. However, equipping will be seen to provide a tool that we can be utilized in the real and front field. Textbook. First book would be unique, significant contribution to make churches consider giving the pastoral care of their member to laity. I thought that it would also be valuable for seminary use when professors want to teach future pastors how to equip their members to give pastoral care. Second book is good for helper both. It will encourage pastors and churches to equip their partner with lay people and the crucial ministry of pastoral care. Maturity and growth. This ministry firstly to emphasize the maturity. Usually many programs look like to emphasize on the early growth. Therefore, its content is weak, and ultimately they become immature. Sometimes we emphasize the result, so people are tired very easily, and also the gospel, the goals is not have done. Then they frustrated. Rather, it is better to focus on the process, then they will be maturing gradually. Lay leadership. Carl George, the director of Fuller Institute of Church Growth, United States, emphasized the key of Korean church is lay leadership development. He also said the development of the lay leadership is directly related to church growth. I found the last many years our ministry is really good tool to develop lay leadership. Here, we are not referring lay people's position offices, but their role function. Despite every ministry should be aimed at developing their lay leaders, but mostly think ministry itself is the ultimate goal, so the result is only staying at the program or manager rather than developing their leaders. This is content of training. Okay, I will tell you later about what the content of training. This is one-to-one ministry. This is one-to-one ministry. Most of ministry talks one-to-many. But this is exactly one-to-one ministry. Of course, there are advantages and disadvantages at both. For instance, why so many ministries emphasize the group leadership, but personal caring is a little weak on this aspect. And one-to-one caring is strong on the caring itself. But group leadership or group dynamics is weak. I think the best strategy is to complement each other. Both have strengths. But we need to see how the personal growth there is. Conclusion. In the end, the lay ministry is subject to the lay people so they themselves lead the ministry. Until now, the senior pastor or assistant pastors have led those ministries. And the lay people only help them respectively. But now the pastor is responsible for the training and the preparation. We call it here equipping the lay people. And the lay people are responsible for the ministry. Many experts say this format and the system as the biblical ministry. Those are things I have found characteristics of this ministry last many years. Thank you. Thank you.